I ducked up a 2-year relationship after dropping and leaving everything behind back in my hometown and moving in with my partner. I moved to an entirely new state that I've never been to. My partner and I made mutual friends, but those friends haven't talked to me since I screwed things up. Also, one of those friends is coming down next month for a visit, and maybe it's just my paranoia, or maybe I misheard, but I think I overheard them calling each other babe as I was getting something to snack on from the kitchen. So it turns out that the mutual friend, Troy, and my now ex, Amber, are dating, 2 weeks after my ex had broken up with me. Normally, this wouldn't be an issue, but neither of us has separate places of our own. We moved into the same place together and will remain in the same place until the middle of next year. Said mutual friend also has not only come down to stay a week, but he's also staying an additional 2 weeks. And due to complications of health, nothing life-threatening, and price for a ticket home, plus baggage costs, he might be staying indefinitely until prices drop, or so that was the plan anyway. I had originally meant to post this the night after finding out that he was sick and was waiting for ticket prices to come down. Now he is staying indefinitely and is getting a job at my ex's current place of employment, the very same place where I would often drive her to and from work earlier in the year. They both called me into the living room wanting to talk about something with me, and it was brought to our attention that my ex and I wouldn't be able to afford our current apartment due to both the increase in rent and the mandatory renter's insurance. We'd both be struggling to get by, even if we pinched pennies and saved as much as we could. So my ex and their new significant other proposed the idea of him getting a job down here to help pay with utilities, rent, groceries, etc. until the lease was up. That way we could at least save up enough to move out and pay for all the necessary fees for moving out and into new places of our own. I want to move out, but I can't morally bring myself to not only screw my ex out of their living arrangements, she would run the risk of being evicted, which would make it harder for her to get another place in the future. But I also can't just leave the mutual friend stranded in a state he's never been in. I don't have it in me to be a heartless bastard of an a-hole. It's also financially impossible for me to move out at the moment, and I also don't have anywhere else to go. There are no jobs in my hometown, and I'd rather not move back in with my parents, especially after finally getting out on my own. I have a good job here that pays well and has good benefits. I can't lie, this is taking a beating on my mental health because I feel as if I'm expected to just brush all the pain and depression I'm going through under a metaphorical rug, so I don't make things awkward or inconvenience them in any way. The walls are damn near paper thin, so when I say I can hear everything, I can literally hear everything, including things I wish I couldn't hear. I can literally hear them as I'm typing this. I've tried explaining to my ex once that I didn't think that the mutual friend coming down was a great idea, but I was met with, "I'm my own person, I can do whatever the duck I want." I tried telling her that I wasn't comfortable with him staying an extra 2 weeks, and I was met with a discussion the next morning of how she was looking over the lease to see if there was any way that she could break it early, for lack of better phrasing, to kick me out basically, and was told that she came into my room to tell me as a courtesy. At the time of them wanting my input of him staying and getting a job to help us out, the only thing running through my mind was, my concerns and opinions didn't ducking matter the first 2 times, why would it matter now? I try having a drink here and there, and suddenly Amber is worried that I'm becoming an alcoholic, despite the fact that I've never gotten drunk, nor have I ever been drunk. I only drink to casually enjoy the taste. I don't actively try and get smashed. I've tried explaining to her that I'm just not comfortable or ready to be around or spend time with her new partner, and that it's just not a good idea overall in general. However, I'm constantly met with, "It's just our friend, nothing has changed, we're still friends." I understand that they're our friend, I honestly do, don't get me wrong, but I also certainly wouldn't fly my new partner down to spend an unknown amount of time with me right after breaking up with my previous partner whilst still living with them. That's just a huge slap in the face. A slap that turns into a double backhanded slap when you're practically forced to smile and pretend like nothing's wrong, despite having to deal with depression, stress, and anxiety from the breakup. I've also tried explaining and requesting that they at least keep it down during the privacy of their own bedroom, but I was met with, "Why are you choosing to listen? It's creepy." I don't want to listen, nor do I choose to. I don't think anyone would want to hear their ex in that type of situation. It's not my fault my room happens to be smack dab in the middle of the apartment. Sure, they can't hear me when they're in their room, but I can hear their laughter and all other noises from mine even when their door is closed, word for word. Amber told me to wear my headphones, but what she doesn't understand is that I always wear my headphones, and sometimes they need to come off when they start hurting or it starts getting too hot to keep them on, especially when I want to take a nap and my room becomes dead quiet. The ducked up part? We both agreed and promised that we would only do behind closed doors activities with our own respective partner when the other one wasn't present in the apartment. If they had just at least kept that promise, then neither of us would have to be at each other's throat in regards to situations like that. I want to be able to get over this, but I've only had 2 weeks to start on the path of getting over and moving on. But during those weeks, Amber would constantly bring up how the relationship ended because of me, and how I did this and that, which led to it ending. I haven't even had a month yet to really get over it and move on, because I've been having to put on my best behavior and make nice. Don't get me wrong, I like Troy, and I do want to be friends with him, but all that runs through my mind when I see him is, here's the person that's dating your ex. They're right here. Despite your ex saying that she's a bad girlfriend and wants to spend time alone because she's never had that time due to hopping from one guy to the next, she's dating the mutual friend you made together, literally 2 weeks after breaking up with you. It's hard to move on when I haven't even been remotely allowed to pull my head out of the water and breathe. I made so many memories with Amber when I moved to her state. Everywhere I look, I see something we did together or a moment we shared. Even the place we moved in together is filled with them, as well as the nice job I have. I can't go anywhere without a memory that was made with her in my life at the time popping into my head and playing. It has been almost 3 months, and I still can't believe any of this is real or happening. I used to have someone waiting for me back at home when I got off work, and now I don't even have the desire to go home when I clock out for the day. Even more so now that her boyfriend is there 24/7. I thought I knew what I wanted in life and where it was going. I thought that this person would be the one after one bad relationship after the next. Amber told me during the first few weeks after the breakup that she loved me, but wasn't in love with me. She stopped being happy extremely early in the year, and after hearing that, I wish that she had just broken up with me when she was no longer happy, instead of dragging the relationship on for the sake of my happiness. We even promised each other that we wouldn't stay in the relationship for the sake of the other's happiness if we ourselves weren't happy. For example, if she was the only one happy and I wasn't, I wouldn't stay, because that would be giving her false love, and would only hurt her more in the end when I finally left. Amber didn't keep her promise, and now here we are. I feel like my happiness was taken from me, even though it wasn't intentional. I don't feel anything anymore other than emptiness, isolation, depression, and loneliness. And it's all been compacted into a conveniently dense ball that's remained with me as I gravitated around their relationship against my will. The only time I get away from them is when I'm at work. I don't get to be fully alone at home because they are both always there when I get off, due to my work schedule being done before theirs. I think the most painful bit is knowing that I will never have her back in my life as a romantic partner, and how we used to share all that went on in our lives with each other. Now, whenever I see her, it's not me that she shares what's going on in her life with, but rather her new partner, Troy. Amber would bring light to my life, but all I did was rob the light from hers, it seems. But even all of this is starting to fade away into nothingness. I can't talk about this with anyone because no matter how I try to explain it, she'll end up being plastered as the bad guy and demonized. Nobody knows the real story, not even my family. If I've told anyone, all they know is that the relationship ended because I wasn't the best partner and that I didn't treat her as well as I should have. I admit I wasn't the best boyfriend. I said and did things I wish I could take back. We never cheated or physically abused each other. I just want to make that abundantly clear. Regardless, though, no matter how bad the breakup may or may not be, even I wouldn't do this to my ex. I would wait until we were living in our own places before flying my long-distance partner down to visit me. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I guess this is the only way I can even open up about this without revealing anything that would put anyone under a ducking spotlight. I need to get this all off my chest before I go insane, but I also need to keep this as non-specific and vague as humanly possible. It's not my mission, nor am I seeking to single anyone out or cause a witch hunt to ruin the lives of the ones involved. I'm maintaining the friendship between the two people, and Troy getting a job will ease the burden of bills and rent for both of us. Were there any other way that wouldn't leave either of us screwed 6 ways from Sunday, we would gladly take it. I want to still be friends with Amber, as well as Troy, because she's the first friend I've had since 2010, when all my high school friends just dropped off the face of the earth and haven't said a word to me since. Over the years, I've lost more friends than I've made, whether it be due to just slowly drifting apart, falling out, or switching between platforms of media, whether it be social or gaming. After all of that and multiple failed relationships where I was either used, abused, lied to, or cheated on, I've lost parts of what made me who I am as a person, especially when it was someone with who I had a long history with. I was planning on snagging an Xbox Series X because I felt that getting a new console would help distract me from the situation at hand. But due to needing to save up for future moving out and whatnot, that's going to be put on hold for quite some time. I don't know what to do. Should I move out? Should I stick with it until the lease is up? Should I go to therapy? Any advice, Reddit? And it all would be most appreciated. So I've begun saving up to move out into a place on my own. That's been my number one goal since events have last unfolded. However, an incident occurred last night which has left me worrying about the state of the future and how events will soon unfold. Last night, I overheard Amber and Troy going at it a second time and ended up knocking twice, once when I went to the restroom and another when I overheard them again. Comments on the previous post suggest I barge in there with my headphones on and pee blaring. After the second round of knocking, Troy opens up my door and asks why I'm knocking. To which I reply, "Can you please not duck while I'm home?" He responded with an annoyed affirmation and walked away, and then Amber came into my room and explained that they had stopped after the first knock. But she was so intent on telling me that the second time I knocked, they were just laughing. Regardless of them laughing or not on the second knock, I was trying my hardest to make her see that I shouldn't have to knock at all. I asked her what I asked him and then followed up with, "I don't think I'm asking too much, Amber. Just please don't duck while I'm home. It's rude. I wouldn't do that to you." Amber then had Troy stand in her room and made him sing the ABCs to see if she could hear. She said she couldn't hear anything, but I could still hear him as he continued. Albeit it wasn't crystal clear audio, but I could still hear the muffled tone of his voice. A second conversation like this shouldn't even be taking place. It should have been understood the first time that they probably shouldn't have relations while I'm home at least. They have plenty of time to do that when I'm not home. They're both home longer than I am in every sense of the word, and it's not like they can't do it then, or at the very least, do it quietly when I'm asleep. I don't think I'm asking too much, being too demanding, or being condescending. I certainly know that I myself wouldn't get intimate with another person if I lived with someone else. Not while that person is still present in the house anyway. Anywho, I woke up this morning to 2 messages on my phone. They were sent in Discord. From Amber that read, "And GTFO," and "Not asking too much." I opened up Discord on my phone to read what she had said, but I couldn't see it, so I assumed my phone was acting weird. I fired up my laptop, and as I was entering my PIN to unlock it, the notification bar at the bottom right dinged up, and I saw that she had sent 2 other messages that said STFU and XDD. Once again, after opening up Discord on my laptop, I couldn't see the 4 messages. I'm assuming there were more she had sent, which tells me she said what she said out of anger and then deleted it. Regardless of what did or didn't happen in regard to her messaging me on Discord, the damage is already done. What she said is already out there and can't be taken back. Those messages, even though there were only 4, not only looked ominous, but they felt foreboding in their own way, especially when I saw that they had been deleted. And what I had actually seen was the preview notifications. Could it be that I was just overthinking things and that she had just typed up what she typed to vent out her frustrations? I've been trying my goddamn hardest to make things civil and peaceful here at the apartment. I even went out and got a brand new TV, for me, and placed the old one in the living room, and then I got an antenna so it could have free cable. I also stocked up on groceries so we would all have food to eat. I even went grocery shopping with them in mind, not just for myself. Amber and Troy get off work at the same time and are coming back within the hour, and I'm honestly scared out of my mind because I don't know what's going to happen. Amber has Troy to go and to back her up whenever arguments or disagreements take place, and I'm always on my own with my back to the wall, basically. He never comes with her when these things take place, but I've noticed that she'll be away for a time when they happen, and then she'll come back after that time has passed and tackles the discussion again. Sometimes 2 times over. The most I can do is talk to what little friends I have on Discord, without giving them too much detail because I don't want to start an unneeded and unnecessary witch hunt of godlike proportions, and just vent while gaming. I don't even tell my folks about the exact details and specifics for the exact reasons listed in the parentheses. I'm afraid I'm going to be kicked out, and if I'm kicked out, I might lose my job if I can't find a new place to stay within 30 days. I'll be back at square one with no job, back at my parents', and my life in shambles basically, even more so if I can't transfer locations with my job. I could just as easily say, duck you, and get help from my folks to get into a new place with all the important crap set up. I kind of want to smooth things over so I can at least stay until May, when we had planned on looking for new places. So I have some more of my own money saved up, especially since I'm paying the $770 rent and groceries. She's paying all the utilities since she doesn't make as much as me. Troy doesn't get his first paycheck until 2 weeks. I don't have a lot of money, nowhere near enough to get settled into a new place. I know most would basically call me a ducking doormat for letting this go on like this, but the thought of making someone else homeless just eats me up inside. I guess I can thank my moral compass for that. I honestly don't know what to expect. Has anyone else been in a scenario like this? What should I do? What can I say?